There's an old post office on the edge of town, abandoned, boarded up. Locals say it closed in the 1970s after the postmaster, Mr. Ellery, went missing during his night shift. They never found him, just his glasses on the counter and one last stamped envelope addressed to himself. Curious and bored, Jack, a delivery driver on his break, decided to explore it one rainy afternoon. The inside was dusty but oddly preserved, like someone had been maintaining it in secret. Letters still sat in pigeonholes, ink faded, but names legible. Most were addressed to people long dead. Jack noticed a small red light blinking behind the counter. A single sorting machine still plugged in, humming softly, and as he leaned closer, it kicked into life and spat out a fresh envelope. Confused, he picked it up. No address, just a message scrawled in shaking pen. "Do not deliver." He chuckled, probably some old prank, but the moment he opened it, his vision blurred. Everything spun. Then silence. The next morning, Jack's van was still parked outside, keys in the ignition, but Jack was gone. Back inside, the machine whirred again. Another envelope emerged. "Do not deliver," but this time it had an address. Jack Ellis, postmaster. A week later, the town's records updated, strangely, listing a new employee under the old post office registry. Jack Ellis, night shift postmaster, and if you peek through the boarded windows on stormy nights, you might just see him behind the counter, sorting letters that no one ever sent, still wearing his delivery uniform, still trying to deliver that one last letter. When the new state-of-the-art post office opened in downtown Manhattan, people were impressed. Sleek counters, digital kiosks, robot sorters, 24/7 service. It was clean, efficient, and oddly quiet. Employees said the night shift was the worst. Packages sometimes arrived with no return address. Some buzzed faintly. Some were ice cold, but policy was strict. If it's stamped, it ships. Angela, a new clerk, got her first overnight shift last Thursday. Around 3:13 a.m., a man walked in, pale, no expression, and dressed in an old wool coat soaked from the rain. Though it hadn't rained in days, he placed a box on the counter. "Overnight delivery," he whispered, sliding a stained envelope across the counter. Angela glanced at the label. No sender, the recipient was just a name. "For who still remembers?" She hesitated. "Sir, there's no address." The man didn't move, just blinked once, slowly, and left without another word. She logged the package, tagged it, and tossed it into the outgoing bin. The moment it hit the sorter, the building's lights flickered, the power surged. The digital clocks reset, all now blinking 3:13 a.m. Angela checked the log. The package was gone. No record. The next morning, the manager reviewed the security footage. At 3:13 a.m., Angela is seen speaking to thin air. The counter is empty. There's no man, no package. But the worst part? When she didn't show up the next night, they called her apartment. No answer. Her neighbor said she'd gotten a delivery earlier that morning. A box with no return label. The only thing inside was an old, folded USPS application form. Stamped, approved, night shift. No one's seen her since. And every night at 3:13 a.m., the same package shows up again. Different clerk, same result. It always gets shipped. It always comes back. And someone always disappears. Sophie had just transferred to Munich for work. The city was clean, efficient, beautiful, but lonely. She sent letters home often just to feel grounded. There was a small, older post office near her flat, tucked between a bakery and a shoe repair shop. Its stone facade was cracked, and the signage was faded, but it was never crowded. No lines, no waiting. Her first time there, a man at the far end, shelter dry, window 3, called her over, tall, gaunt, thin lips, no uniform, just a pale button-up and gloves, even in summer. "You write often," he said in perfect, low German. "Nice handwriting." Sophie blinked. "How would you know that?" He only smiled. She left unsettled. From then on, no matter what time she went, he was always there, same seat, same faint smile. One day she joked, "You must live here?" His reply, "I never left." She stopped using that post office. A week later, a letter arrived at her apartment. No stamp, no address, just her name. Inside, it read, "You forgot something, come back." She ignored it, but more letters came. Every few nights, same handwriting, no return address. She moved to a different apartment on the other side of town, but the letters kept coming in Nachholju, always hand-delivered, always in her mailbox before dawn. She finally returned to the old post office to confront him, but it was gone. In its place was a boarded-up ruin, the windows shattered, weeds growing through the cracks. A condemned sign dated 1981 hung on the door. A woman from the bakery next door came out. "You okay?" she asked. Sophie pointed. "Wasn't there a post office here?" The woman frowned. "You must be mistaken. That place hasn't been open in over 40 years. Fire. Everyone inside died. They say the night clerk was the last to go. Burned alive at Shelter Dry." Sophie backed away, heart pounding. That night, a final letter arrived. Her name was written in soot. The paper smelled like smoke. Inside, "See, I never left. And now, neither will you." The lights in her flat flickered. And down the hallway, somewhere near the front door, a bell rang, just like one you'd hear at a post office counter.